jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, subscribe.
WCS back on the boulevard once again. Big shout out to the first in the building, Papa Lock James on deck. You already know. Salute. Appreciate the support. Thanks for pulling up as always, man. Said what it do. Love the intro. Shout out to Lost Art of Boxing, the LAB on deck. You already know WCS what's popping. What's good with it, man? Salute to you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope all is well. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to those who are into mixed martial arts like I am. This live right here is one of those moments where, you just have to sit back and think about being able to come up with these dudes, because a lot of them that you see in the picture is my age or older anyway. And I had the opportunity to see most of these guys in competition, especially overseas. You know what I'm saying? When Pride was still popping, Glory, just the whole, when these rules wasn't in place and you was able to soccer ball kick your opponent. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the supporters again. Big salute to ones who tune into the channel. Bellator 290 pretty much signified the final bout of Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor, his alias was the last emperor. When you talk about warriors, when you talk about individuals in combat sports, when I looked at this dude, when I finally had a chance to set eyes on him in person, I was like, damn, that's an actual legitimate killer right there. Like, this dude, he looked like the hitman. He looked like he was that guy. You know what I'm saying? And he always maintained that same expression when he was going in there beating dudes. What's significant about his retirement is that he didn't retire undefeated. He retired like a lot of combat specialists who are considered legends. He retired with several losses on his record, but with the respect of other legends that graced the octagon or graced the cage with him. This frame right here, I wish I could have been the one who lensed the moment with this. If you look from left to right, y'all, come on, man. All you mixed martial art fanatics, casuals, look at this picture, how significant it is. This is just, look, it's amazing to be living to see a frame like this, man. For those of you that grew up and saw the maturity of mixed martial arts into what it is today, this right here is one of the most legendary pictures in all of combat sports. And shout out to Bellator's president, Scott Coker, the man in the black suit. Shout out to Scott Coker. This picture right here is just incredible. I mean, it's not words that can describe the names that are framed in this right here and what they meant and what they would to accomplish to the sport of mixed martial arts. If you look from left to right, the warrior and legend that's on his knee, Henzo Gracie. Henzo Gracie, dog. Come on. Standing beside him is Rampage Jackson. Standing next to him is Chael Sonnen, the man with the glasses on back there. Now this is definitely a privilege for Chael Sonnen now, because those who's in there, you know, that in their own right, they're considered a high level mixed martial arts. But I'm just saying in general, the names is in here. They have accomplished a lot in their career. Next to him is Horace Gracie, man. I was there to witness Horace Gracie first walk out when he was in tournament style fighting, no weight class, in a gi. You know what I'm saying? It had me got to the point where we had a sponsorship for the UFC yet. He was from the old school to the point where they sold the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Like, the tournament was absolutely set up for the Gracies to benefit from, because they was the only one in there wearing a gi that knew how to use the gi in submission skill fighting. Moving on, Horace Gracie in the blue blazer, white crew neck, beige jeans, and some white shoes, right? Next to him is the Iceman, Chuck Liddell, man. I remember when Chuck Liddell was knocking dudes out, cold smack out. He wasn't too fancy with his jiu-jitsu game and nothing like that. Dude was knocking cats cold out. And this is when people developed rivalries, you know, back in the day. You know, it was just incredible. Next to him, center with the white shirt, of course, that's Fedor, the legend himself. There's a lot of legends on this stage now. There's a lot of legends in this picture. I mean, like, this is the holy grail, y'all. This is the holy grail when it comes to the names and the generations of mixed martial arts, man. This is like a holy grail for this one. It's unbelievable. Behind Fedor is Josh Barnett. Josh Barnett, you know, like I said, in mixed martial arts, you don't necessarily have to win a championship to be considered a legend. It's just all about the names that you was in there with. That's their mentality. That's their code. You know what I'm saying? They just don't signify someone saying, okay, you got to win a belt. Because a lot of mixed martial artists don't hold the belt for a long period of time. They get the belt and they fight such tough competition that they may lose it in two defenses, if that. Anyway, in front of Josh Barnett in the green shirt with the blue jeans on, dead center, that's Matt Hughes, one half of the Hughes twins. UFC champion, you already know what it is. We're not talking about ships right now, but that's Matt Hughes, bro. You know, next to him, to his left, behind Scott Coker with the black suit on, is Frank Shamrock. Yes, the adopted brother of Ken Shamrock. Frank Shamrock, man, when he was on, man, he was on. Very, very talented striker. Has such an in-depth history to his mixed martial arts career. Unfucking believable. Next to Frank Shamrock to his left is Randy Couture. I don't need to see a mixed martial artist now. A lot of these guys you see in the picture are actors too. Rampage, actor, you know what I'm saying? Barnett, Randy Couture. I believe Chael Sonnen, I'm not for sure. But Randy Couture, man, you know him from the UFC. You know who he was in there with. This is the guy who went in there and fought James Toney. You know, when James Toney one of the only fighters that had the cojones to step from boxing over to the cage and fight a beast like Randy Couture. And Randy Couture didn't play around with it. He level changed, got the takedown, played around with Tony until the ref stopped the fight. It would have got real bad from there. But shout out to Randy Couture, man. I mean, multi-time champion. Next to him, a lot of people may not recognize him. You know what I'm saying? You know, you really got to pay attention. No, that's not Goldberg, okay? That's Matt. listen, listen. That's not Goldberg from Wrestling Entertainment. That's Mark Coleman. All right. I was about to say Matt. I was in the process of cross-threading my thoughts, but that's Mark Coleman, man. Mark Coleman, man. You probably remember in his competition days with his good friend Kelvin Randleman. Shout out to the late Kelvin Randleman. But these were some of the most fit athletes in mixed martial arts. Their original pedigree and background was wrestling. This dude was a beast right here. I mean, he had his checks and he has his X's, man. Beast. And of course, they came up around the time where the rules was different. The testing was different. A lot of these guys. So you know what it is, man. And then on the far end, with the gray t-shirt on, the legend himself, Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson came over to the UFC with 2 belts. This dude he had some of the most notable wins in a neighboring organization before he came over to the UFC. He has some of the most memorable fights in here in the UFC with some of the top names. He's that dude, man. They call him Hindu. When I was in Cali, man, I had the opportunity to go over there to his school in Temecula, at several times. And he's a real good dude, man. Hindu, he always chop it up. Real good dude. Him, his people that surround him, real good people, man. You know what I'm saying? But that dude right there, I mean, that right hand, that H bomb that they call it, man, he has some power. Real talk. But overall for Bellator 290, this was the conclusion of Fedor Emelianenko's career. This dude was absolutely a legitimate, bona fide legend in the presence with many more legends in this picture. I just can't speak it enough, being that one half of my media duties is photography, right? No, I'm not the best at it. You know what I'm saying? But I came a long way from learning this shit on my own in just a matter of, just over, I don't know, several years or whatever. But if I would have had the opportunity to take a picture like this, no telling, look, no telling the circulation, you know what I'm saying, that it would have got. We can understand this is a Bellator photographer right here, because they're in the cage and this was all planned ahead of time. This is just not the average where you'll see somebody covering boxing shows. This is a photographer Bellator. So Bellator is going to get all the credit for this holy grail of a frame with all these individuals in there. You know what I'm saying? And it was a privilege being able to grow up and see these dudes fight, especially overseas, seeing Rampage. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing the Josh Barnett's, man, the Hindus, the Mark Colemans, the Hindu Gracies. Just seeing a lot of these guys overseas, it was good when they was in their prime. This is an unbelievable picture right here with the one and only Fedor, the last, calling it. He went in there and fought Ron Bader for the second time in the rematch. He lost the first match and he lost this match. But at least he was healthy enough that he can take the picture and, he didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. And I'm pretty sure Ron Bader, you know what I'm saying, he knew how significant this fight was. He knew how special it would be to his legacy too. Ryan Bader's not pictured in this, right? So I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, Ryan Bader has a win over Fedor's twice, right? But if I was in his position, I wouldn't have took a picture with these guys either. I mean, these guys have accomplished a lot in their career in a different era, and I just would have chilled too. I would have been back there. I would say, okay, I'll wait till all this done, because it's just so much stuff went on, man. I can't tell you. Like, there's so much history between these guys fighting big names. If I pull up Fedor's record right now and and give you 7 professional fights, right? Now, before he even took his first loss, I'm talking about first loss, he was 30-1 and took his first loss. Well, really, he's pretty much in the same boat as John Jones. John Jones was disqualified. Fedor, his first defeat, so to speak, was from a cut. He received a cut. No one really beat him at all until Fabricio Verdun. And everybody was tuned in and strike for that fight. It was a with the strike force. They was like, man, Fedor is coming over the strike force. This is gonna be crazy. And Fabricio Verdun, he's gonna get first stab at him. You know what I'm saying? Fabricio had already had 4 losses and 1 draw in his mixed martial art career. And here comes Fedor, the last emperor, and they looking for him to enter to get this grand introduction over the strike force, which was considered a much higher tier for mixed martial artists at the time. It was growing, right? And this was back in 2010 time frame. He goes in there and gets subbed out. Fedor gets subbed out the first time ever. He loses in the triangle armbar from a jiu-jitsu specialist, Fabricio Verdun. In round 1, y'all. That was so bad of it. Like, when he first locked him in, I was thinking, I say, Fedor's going to get up out of here. This is nothing. That just wasn't the case. He ended up hopping the tap. He was done. Not only that, y'all, that was June 2010. Fedor came back the following year, the first half of the following year in 2011, and faced Antonio Silva. Bigfoot, there's no way think, well, Bigfoot is not athletic enough to beat Fedor. Fedor's gonna get his win back. He's gonna get back on track. He takes a L, y'all. He takes a L in round 2 to Antonio Bigfoot Silva. This is his second straight loss and pretty much stepping up competition, in Strike Force. Like, this was his third fight in Strike Force, but no one was really talking about Brett Rogers, right? We're not talking about him. But Fabricio Verdun was the first time he stepped up really against a very dangerous opponent. Brett Rogers, if I'm not mistaken, he was one of those guys where his backstory was, I believe he used to work at freaking changing tires, you know, or something. If I'm not mistaken, he used to work at changing tires at Walmart or something like that, and start knocking dudes out in mixed martial arts. So they put him in there with Fedor, and Fedor stopped him in round 2. But anyway, and stopped this in round 2, right? Fabricio subbed him in round 1, Silva round 2, and then he steps in there with Dan Henderson. This is 2011, y'all. This is round 1 with punches. This is the first time Fedor has been stopped with punches in his career. That was the first time he was being subbed out by Fabricio Verdun in his career. You know what I'm saying? That was 3 straight losses in Strikeforce. 3 straight losses. This was the Russian night. It was the that came over and he stepped up supposedly in promotions, and he came for like I remember the conversations we was having. Um, I was like, I wonder, can he go undefeated in Strikeforce? You know what I'm saying? Can he do it? You know what I'm saying? Is he as dangerous as they say he is, bro? And he lost 3 straight times. So then he back, to fight in one ring overseas. I know it had to be very, very disappointing for Fedor to take that route. You know what I'm saying? All the damn Wall Street, like all the hype that was behind Fedor of who he fought in his career, how dangerous of a fighter he was. Just his entire credential. He was a certified, he's a certified dangerous killer inside the cage, inside the ring. Because if you don't remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but over in Japan, they used to fight mixed martial arts inside a ring. You know what I'm saying? 4-corner ring, just like a boxing ring. That's what they did. Bit in the cage. It was and the rules was different. You feel me? The rules were extremely different. The crazy part about hold on for a second. The crazy part about Fedor's career also, outside of those, went on this win streak, right? Over in Japan. The rumor mill was that he was going to return back over here and come one day coming to the UFC. That just wasn't the case. He never made it to the UFC. He ended up fighting some of the guys that used to fight in the UFC, but he himself never made it to the UFC. But let's let's look at names he fought, right? For those of you that follow martial arts heavy in the day, the first man to ever earn a defeat in Fedor's career is Yoshi Kosaka. So Yoshi Kosaka stopped him in round 1. So Yoshi Kosaka was around the stage. And then as you continue to go up, he fought Antonio Nogueira. The first one was canceled. Then he had a lot of Japanese names, Japanese fighters that he was fighting over there. He ran to Gary Goodrich. If you remember Gary Goodrich, he's one of the guys who fought earlier in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the late Gary Goodrich. He fought in a rematch Antonio Nogueira. You know what I'm saying? A no contest. Fought him again. Won a unanimous decision. Fought Tsuyoshi Kosaka. The first one. And the stoppage, he fought him again. Stopped him in round 1. Mirko Filipovic, aka Krokov. He defeated him, which was, one of the legendary beasts too, man, with his leg kicks. Mirko was no joke. He rematched Mark Coleman again. Then he fought heavy hitting Mark Hunt, subbed him out in round one. Matt Lennon, which a lot of people say is a legend too. You know what I'm saying? He unbarred him in round one. Hong Man Choi subbed him one. A UFC former heavyweight and Tim Silver subbed him in round one. Now, Andre, Fabricio Verdum, Antonio Silva, that he lost to his Strike Force, they pretty much went the distance with Andre Arlovsky, but stopped him in round one. You know what I'm saying? Then he had an exhibition bout with Shinya Aoki. That's a legend. That's a Japanese legend right there. Gegard Mousasi, he's a legend. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I gave you the rundown of the 3 losses he suffered at Strike Force, but he stepped in there with them. Fabricio Verdum, Antonio Silva, Dan Henderson. Look, Jeff Monsoon. Look up Jeff Monsoon, man. Look up Jeff Monsoon. This dude, I'll tell you, boy, he'll put a smile on your face, dog. Jeff Monsoon, man. One of the most, how you put it, jacked, as they call it, fighters that you will ever see in the ring. Like I told you, Kevin Randleman and Mark Coleman was their physique was incredible, right? This dude was over the top. He was like something out of the Marvel comics, like you'll see on Spider-Man, one of those damn mutated super villains. That's what Jeff Monsoon looked like. For those of you that grew up around that time, it was crazy. Monsoon, at the time he stepped in there with Fedor, he was 43-12, y'all. 43-12, man. This man had MMA crazy. Pedro Rizzo, dog. Pedro Rizzo, man. The list goes on. This is crazy. This is crazy, bro. Eno on deck. What's good with it? Rampage was great in 18. I hate Dana for stopping the second movie. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, you know how politics goes, man. When that's the kind of one of the that Dana gonna hog all the money and the fighters can't get no extra money. But Conor McGregor was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? I guess it was enough money in it for I was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. But Randy is a legend. Period. Yeah, a lot of these you see the picture and definitely pioneers of mixed martial arts. I can't say enough that like a lot of these guys, man. I mean, they went through it from the old school view. I mean, they took a lot of damage. If you look at Matt Hughes, it's in the middle with the green shirt. He had a very very bad vehicle accident. That's why he's a lot different than what people would expect. At one point in time, he wasn't even walking. We're talking about combat sports here. A lot of domestic stuff going on or whatever. But he had a very very bad accident, man. But anyway, I hope he's doing well. Like all the other fighters, this is a Fedor moment. Um, a dude that has over 45 professional bouts. In there with some of these names in the sport. Countless of highlights, well respected over in his own country and the US, Japan, all over. And I just took the time I just wanted to take the time, since my name, the title of my trademark is World Combat Sports. Mixed martial arts is absolutely encapsulated in World Combat Sports. To that this is considered a sport that has transcended time with the rules being back in the day, and people complain about it was too much. It was bloody. It was almost damn near like someone's gonna lose their life being kicked in the head like that. It was brutal. I ain't gonna lie. When they had very limited rules back in the day, to see it happen in person for the first time, somebody get kicked in the head, you're like, that's shin to bone. Like that's foot to bone. That's some shit that it's gonna last a while, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what these guys are going through right here, but I'm just happy to see them all being able to pose for one of the most infamous MMA pictures that you will ever run into while these guys are still living. It's a lot of fighters that have passed away that these guys have fought. And they was young, bro. They was young. This is just a legendary picture all the way from left to right, man. This is a legendary picture for real. This is crazy. I was just sitting up here looking at it, and then I was just going through, some of the fights, looking back at their credentials and looking at some of the fights they've been a part of. And it'll stack up to any, combat specialist. You know what I'm saying? These guys right here, they put in the work. I think it makes it even more official when you look back at the lack of rules they actually had. Like, what was the rule setting back then? A lot of these guys that's on here, they fought when the fighter was outweighed by 50 to 100 pounds. We wasn't established a weight class yet. I mean, some of these guys on here, they really came up, during the days where you took a crazy amount of a punishment. You had to be built different. You had to have a different set of cojones. As far as your courage and everything, it just had to be all different, bro. I bet it's a picture out there for whoever took it. They probably signed that. They probably put an autograph to this right here, because this might be the only time that you will ever see this many names of warriors together like this living, that came from that era before mixed martial arts actually became a bit more regulated the way it is, and organized, with the gloves, with the weight classes, with the minutes per round. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely, it wasn't like that back in the day. The minutes per round today's 5 minutes per round. Back then, man, it was way more than that, depending on what promotion you was with. Like, they had this long first round back in the day. That shit was like umpteen minutes long, like 10 minutes long, man. Like, no break. And then they had like 2 overtimes or whatever. Approximately. This shit was just crazy, man. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about how legendary this thumbnail was, and give a big shout out to Fedor, one of the baddest men to ever lace up. Just the way he looked now is just like he looked in his whole career. Win or loss, that's how Fedor looks, man. You know what I'm saying? I often wonder, like, damn, what would it be like to carry on a conversation with Fedor? You know what I'm saying? And he has a brother. I think his brother is still competing over in Japan. His brother is lethal too, man, but he doesn't get as much recognition as Fedor. Fedor is the big bro of the bunch, real talk. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to bring to the light, when it comes to how legendary this picture was, how legendary the fighters that's in this picture, what they've contributed to the sport of mixed martial arts. And it's been amazing. I want to give a big salute to every name that was in there and all the others that have came before them or being able to compete with them, and those that will be competing after these guys have since gone. And a lot of these guys have retired that was in that picture. Damn near all of them have retired. Um, I know some exhibitions here and there, but damn near all of them that was in the picture have retired. You know what I'm saying? And I hope they stay retired. I don't want to see any of them come back. MMA is a different sport. It don't play around, and you can get yourself seriously injured in there. But the wild part about it, some of these guys, they get back in the gym and they don't see that they're over the hill. They don't see it. They just feel like, okay, man, I'm feeling a little bit good. I know I can go in another fight, 3 rounds, 5 minutes apiece. Oh, that's nothing. I got it. And that's just not the case, man. So I hope not Fedor back in again, but salute to every one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? That I had the opportunity to grow up with inside that cage. Definitely check me out tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back home in the morning. Salute to everyone that pulled up. We definitely will be back with the hot one tomorrow. It'll be back on boxing. Got some things to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like always, we got some things to talk about because I try not to do, or I refuse to do lives on the same topic all the time, even though it is very interesting and very familiar when you start to speak about it. But boxing is much bigger than two individuals that's not fighting each other. Boxing is much bigger than the individual that refused to fight an option. You know what I'm saying? Which he said he will fight in the beginning, but he refused to fight the option now. Boxing is way bigger than a lot of what you see going on with certain fighters not being able to make the fights. Point of reference is the fact that Amanda Serrano goes in there and have Erica Cruz, and then they announce a potential rematch or a rematch with her and Katie Taylor. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. They can set up fights like that, and it can happen. Who don't want to see Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor too? I do. I do. I mean, look, I don't know why she went in there and fought Erica Cruz the way she did. I guess she had to go out there and leave it all out there. She had to go to war. She had to dig and go to a dark place to get the praise from the fans just because it's women's boxing. I don't know why she took that much punishment. That is not something that's I don't know, man. I don't know why she felt where she at in her career right now that it was feasible or beneficial for her to go in there and take on the punches she did with that level of opponent. I didn't think Erica Cruz was on the level of Amanda Serrano, but the way they fought, she pretty much allowed her to be on the level that night. She allowed her to act. She allowed her to go punch for punch. You know what I'm saying? Breath for breath. She allowed it to happen because she chose to go 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, over and over and over again, dog. Yeah, it was entertaining to the fight fans, but I don't know, man. She's a 7th division world champion. If I was going in there with Katie Taylor and I need every bit of my wits about me, every bit of it, I wouldn't have tried to allow Erica Cruz to extract any of that from me. And I got a tough fight coming up against Katie Taylor. That fight was very close before. What did you hear the commentator say? Katie Taylor is sitting over there talking about, yeah, beat every bit of it out of her. Beat every bit of it out of it. Yeah, that was hilarious because punishment is punishment. Serrano has been in some fights where she's taking punishment. You need to be at the top of your game physically and mentally heading into a rematch with Katie Taylor because you definitely want to, get that win back and potentially go to a trilogy. That's potential. You know what I'm saying? Potentially that's the fight that we all want to see. Then you go to Baumgartner, right? Alicia Baumgartner. Salute to her, the undisputed. The undisputed, man. Shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. She learned in that fight. You know what I'm saying? She ducked that thing, but she sustained it. She just didn't absolutely lose everything. You know what I'm saying? Just lose all control of the momentum. But she did dump it off a fighter who's never been stopped before. With that said, she recovered over several rounds, but it was much longer than what people figured it would take for her to recover. But once again, Baumgartner showed she got that dog in her. She showed that she is not a punk. And then she even took some punches herself and looked like she was going to be, up against the ropes and trying to fight through adversity to going mano a mano, close quarters, infighting, you know what I'm saying? And giving the crowd some good entertainment. Now, for Baumgartner, she didn't take as much punishment as we saw in Serrano Cruz, but she did learn a lesson by going in there trying to, not place her punches effectively enough to break down her opponent the right way with less energy. Less energy is possible. You know what I'm saying? Do it with less energy as possible. Just punch placement is everything. Dig to where you got to dig to, but just don't go all out and on a fighter that never been stopped before. And shout out to her opponent, man. Her opponent, proved that she was tough. It's a reason why she never been stopped. She's tough, man. She fought out of adversity. She did what she's supposed to do, man. Shout out to the women for showing up and showing out this weekend. God damn. Shout out to them. And this next fight, Richards and Hitchens, John Bowser. Hitchens showed what he's always been able to show us, that he's technically skilled. You know what I'm saying? He's very educated with the fundamentals of boxing. He was able to get 2 knockdowns with Bowser, but for sure, me and a lot of other people in his corner, those of you that was at home, a lot of people felt that he can turn it up to another gear, and Hitchens didn't do it. Now, this is my thought process. I can't come up here and just blatantly criticize Hitchens for not putting on a thorough, a solid, performance against John Bowser. He did that. He made it to the point where it was absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts about it, no compunction, that this was a dominating performance by Hitchens. But in boxing, you always going to have the critic that give you criticism before they give you the constructive. The constructive might come somewhere up in a breath or two up the road or whatever, but they always going to give you the criticism first, man. And a lot of that shit ain't gonna be constructive either. It's just gonna be some, hey man, Hitchens, he did what he had to do against Bowser, but when it comes down to it, man, he didn't stop him. And that's the whole point I've been hearing across in the Facebook groups, sidebars, YTC, is that why Hitchison didn't dig deep, didn't bring the lion out, didn't bring that honey badger, that mongoose, that puff adder, you know what I'm saying? That bullet ant, that hippopotamus, that Nile crocodile, Why he didn't bring that killer instinct out and stop that dude, bro? Does he have the killer instinct? Is he just a fundamentally sound fighter who went in there and proved to Bowser? Because Bowser said he was just a runner. He don't have no heart, right? Bowser said he was a runner, didn't have no heart. He literally went up there and beat Bowser the fuck up. He beat Bowser up. That's why I gotta let this man ride. I gotta let him ride out with his performance. I can't sit up here and say, oh, I'm gonna talk about the tough shit. He went up there and beat Bowser up and made it look easy, and he wasn't running. Now look at his fight with Malik Hawkins, and look at his fight with John Bowser. Look at his fight with Malik Hawkins, and look at his fight with John Bowser. Just look at his. Just look, man. Dude did not run. He was very surgical with his counter shots. Man, come on. Hitchens put on a show, bro. I can't dog this man out and say, "Oh man, he didn't kill him. He didn't come with it." I have to present the question though, like, bro, it just looked like you could have got him up out of there if you turned it up. You look in tremendous shape. You look composed, poised, bro. Got Eclipse 330. What's going on, Square? How you feeling? Salute to you, brother. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. Salute, OG. What's good? What's good? Everybody's in the building. Salute. Yeah, he probably just put a beating on him for the shit talking. You may be absolutely right, man. You know what I'm saying? He showed that he's a different type of guy. You know, he wasn't getting exposure. He wasn't getting the light time, the lights, camera, action, the show time that he would like previously where he was at. He was able to leave and go over there and put on a performance. And I like that performance. Like, I like that performance, man. The way he beat Bowser the fuck up. And Bowser, if you're listening, you know why I love it too. You was talking all that shit, boy. You and your team. Y'all made it dirty. You know what I'm saying? Not you, Bowser. Don't make no mistake about it. John Bowser, you put the highlight reel up there. That's what I'm saying about you. You didn't let it go, bro. You got one win and you just ran with it. But you turn back around and you know, you go in there against a Canadian fighter, you got the win, but now you go in here and saying that, you know, Hitchens gonna run, he don't have no heart. And one thing about Bowser, I give him credit. He has heart. Bowser is that guy. I say it over and over again. He ain't to be fucked with, you know, like inside the ring or outside the ring. I believe Bowser get down. Like he'll throw hands, man. Because when he get hit, he has a motherfucking switch that gets turned on, and dude is ready to brawl, man. But Hitchens nullified that shit. He nullified it, bro. Every time he would attempt to surge, man, Hitchens was already, man, like, and that ain't, man, nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You're not shining tonight, bro. I'm shining. Only one person shining tonight. That's me. He did what he needed to do, man. And you know, I was happy to see him, you know, put them gloves on Bowser's eye the way he did. You know, I know Kano was tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, it was a good beatdown, wasn't it, Kano Loco? You know what I'm saying? Wasn't it a good beatdown this time around for your Puerto Rican, you know, fighter? Since your whole intro is Puerto Rican fighters, right? You know, you give Shakur Stevenson a pass because he had Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I know you like that fight. I know you love that fight. For real. I know you like the way Hitchens were putting them combinations together. Bing, bing, bang, bing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of, it's all good though. Hopefully everything going good over there. And you getting ready for your next fighter to come on deck. You know what I'm saying? And don't disappoint you the way he did the first time. You know? That's all I'm saying. But man, those of you that tuned in, we'll do it again. Salute to everyone that's on deck, man. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Support the channel. Hit that button way out.